His days were gradually reducing, but the determination was concreting with the excitement. After 5 years, the village was going to prepare for a cycling race once again. Within a few days, it would be started. Lots of people from different parts of the village gathered here to witness the program. Not only from this village, people came from many different places from town, from the beside village also. The race was very popular among people. Paresh was also preparing himself for his last show. He knew he was a moment's person. This race could be the last opportunity to make his family's life better, because there was no economic support for his children. If he died, his wife had to hold the family's grip. Their living was deteriorating day by day. He had 2 children. They were little, so a bright future was waiting for them. He thought he would secretly participate in that race. If he won, the money would make their children's lives better, and he could use it for his treatment also. They had already spent much on the treatment. His wife also didn't know about his participation in this game. Otherwise, she would never allow him, and his hope would get destroyed. His cancer was not hidden from his wife, Usha, a very pious lady. All time she used to be busy with her household work. Paresh had already left his masonry job, because the doctor said not to work. He was in the 2nd stage of cancer. Whatever he saved, all was spent. Recently, his wife started to work as a nurse. So, the hope for winning the race was running in his mind. It could change his destiny too. He participated 5 years ago but came 5th. This time it might change, he thought. An excitement was working in his mind. He was thinking about when he would enlist his name there. The next day he went there. Some people were already in the queue. The in charge of the counter was under a shade made with bamboo. 2 helpers were with him. The entry fee was written on a board so that people didn't need to ask every time. The queue was heading fast as there were 3 persons in the counter. As he got the entry card, he put it under the pocket of his shirt. Then he saw the whole area where the race was going to be held. The field was being maintained by the authorities. Someone from his behind called him, "Hey Paresh, what are you doing here?" "Nothing, just watching," he replied. "How are you, Sushant?" "Good. Are you also going to take part?" Sushant asked him. No, I'm just watching. I'll come to see." "How's your family?" Sushant asked. "They are good also." "Aren't they coming here?" "Yes, of course, they will also come here." "What happened to your health?" Sushant asked. "Aren't you taking proper food?" Sushant was an old friend to him. He was not aware of his cancer. After a long time, they met, but Paresh was not in a good mood. "Okay, Sushant, I have to go home now. Usha is waiting." Paresh left. Usha had to go for nursing. "Where were you for so long?" Usha shouted. "I was just surrounding the place where it is being held." "I told you not to go anywhere," Usha said. She was screaming at him wearing her sari. Her schedule of work was from 2 to 8 p.m. Their lunch was not finished yet. So, she was already late. As they were taking their lunch, Usha repeatedly told him not to go anywhere. They finished their lunch. Usha left home. The children, Vipin and Ashu, had already slept. It was his practice timing. He carefully pulled out his old cycle, which was being damaged without using for a long time, though it was still in a proper condition. He made his place for preparation. No one saw him as it was a village. People lived at a long distance. He practiced for 1 hour. He could feel his weakness but tried hard to win this time. It was going on for some days until the final day came, but secretly, without letting his wife know. Finally, the day came. Paresh left home in the early morning. Everybody in the family was sleeping then. The place was full of audience. Children were gathering around the fence. There were other things also, like a merry-go-round, circus show, magic show. Some people were gathering there also. The show acquired a huge area. It was only for 3 days. So, nobody wanted to miss the chance. Under the scorching sun, participants had to cycle. Their route was in a circle form as the ground was circular. Space, where the race was held, was fenced by wooden material. People were waiting behind it. The noise of bugle was everywhere with the sound of the crowd. The merry-go-round was circling, taking those adventurous people on it. Their shouts made the environment more cheerful. Here and there food stalls were standing. As it was daytime, people were not gathering there. They were busy with other things. The whole area was packed up with people. The race was just yet to start. Paresh went to the field to ask the in-charge about the timing. He said, chewing pawn, 1 hour. This is my entry card, Paresh said. Where would I go? Taking the card, he asked, oh, are you also taking part? Yes, Paresh replied. Okay, go to the waiting room. Our person will give everyone a cycle. They will call you one by one, spitting on the field. Here on the other side, Usha was extremely anxious about him. After getting up, she saw there was no trace of him. She searched everywhere around the cottage but didn't get. It was expected that he could go. So, she went to the fair. The children were at the home. People were cheering the participants. In the middle of the crowd, she couldn't find her husband. But finally, she made way to come in front of the fence where she could now watch the race. Her husband was on the cycle, paddling. Shouts didn't reach him due to the overpopulated crowd. Her voice was suppressed among the audiences. Her eyes were glittering with tears. Now she could watch him properly. Paresh was paddling faster. He left almost everyone except 3 people who were in front of him. Then, he crossed 3-2 and they cried, hugging each other. Paresh was holding the first prize. Usha was standing beside him. The money he got was little though, it helped him to spend for his better treatment and save for his children's future. His dream came true. There was no regret.